I'm Gaurav from Gaurav Roy Choudhury Architects. So we are basically a very small firm. We take up very few projects and we try to kind of do them as well as we can. Push ourselves in the process, be as true to what the client wants, etc., and push architecture itself. This is a young family. The husband and the wife both worked, have a young daughter. So he was very clear cut, from science background. So I got an Excel sheet. These are the Vastu requirements. The WCs need to face here, this needs to face here. So very clear cut. But he said, so the brief itself was very strict. But he said, in between the lines is where you have your freedom. So the site is located in a typical suburban site development, a little outside Bangalore. And when we started construction, there was nothing, no built structure there. So it is basically a 60-40 site. This is your road. So this is your 60 feet and this is your 40 feet side, and no construction anywhere, back, front, sides. So one of the experiences we've had before was that when you build a project like this, people around, firstly in a site where there's no construction, the next 10 years could see construction. So we had to make the building in such a way where it was as self-sufficient as possible in terms of light and ventilation. So the site faced west. So you had a west facing site, north was in this direction. So your sun basically typically moved in this direction. So the coolest areas obviously would be your north and northeast. So the building was designed in such a way where we actually got a courtyard in to the north, and this got the light into the rest of the house. So this is what gave it its self-sufficiency. Okay, and this also became the green space and the gardens, and where people and the bedrooms kind of looked over around it, and the whole house kind of basically, the common spaces became this edge of it. This is the main part of this house which kind of came in. So we had a requirement, it's a 4-bedroom house which we had to come in. They wanted 2 car parkings inside a small site, which itself was a challenge. So what we did is we rolled out both the cars one after the other in one corner. So you had parking 1, parking 2. Then we carved out a garden space which kind of came in here. They also wanted an entry which kind of came in from the north. So we created a nice big ramp which left the car parking. It was very important for us to leave the car parking behind. The houses don't overlook into cars and things like that, So the car parking actually was lower, a ramp climbed up, and your entry actually came into the center of the house. Okay, once you entered, you had a living room. This portion behind became your kitchen, a puja, and a dining. So this became your dining table. You have a garden here. You have a window which the dining looks into the garden. So so you have greenery here. The living room has the doors which access the garden. So the living room basically becomes a squarish kind of a space. Then we had a bedroom here, bathroom, etc., and a staircase which started from somewhere here, which climbed up this way. So we broke the staircase. The staircase becomes the most important part of this house, mainly because the volumes are experienced through the staircase. So we start off with a more or less squarish living room here, and every flight of step, in fact every step you take, the house expands. So this is your first flight, which reaches roughly around 4 feet height. This is the second flight, again, which goes to around 8 feet height, above which you have a mezzanine, a study. And this is entirely a cutout. So this becomes a cutout. So we'll move on to the first floor of this house. The living room was somewhere here as a squarish kind of block. The staircase started from here. So the first flight again took you a particular distance, then you reach the mezzanine floor as you go up. So this mezzanine floor hovers above you when you enter the house. So what happens is it keeps the scale low. This also ties up with the car parking. It becomes the roof of the car park to create a courtyard, again which is green. This courtyard and the garden below combine to make again the north courtyard which I was talking about. And what helps here is the fact that this is again it's at a little level. So what happens is that both of these kind of act together because the scale is low. Both of them combine together and become this green space for the house. Now as you climb up further, so the next flight of steps actually go further up this way. And a passage kind of comes up over this thing, accessing a bedroom here. This has a bedroom at the mezzanine floor level where you have a bedroom above the car park here. And then you have a bedroom on the top level which is your master bedroom here. So this becomes a master bathroom here. Master bedroom comes in here. You have a bedroom here again. Now this is overlooking the courtyard. This bedroom is overlooking the courtyard. So again the whole house kind of combines in such a way where this courtyard, which is at a middle level, the whole house comes around it. And as you are kind of climbing up the staircase from this proportion where you started off from the living room, it becomes this proportion. And the brick which we have along the whole house on the first floor kind of wraps around the courtyard in this fashion. So suddenly your first floor becomes a space which is this big. With the courtyard below you, you're looking onto this greenery, you're deriving light and ventilation from it, and the bedrooms kind of go in this way. They have bay windows here which are overlooking. This is where you interact with the people in your house. And the study becomes the space where everyone kind of gathers. Someone is doing work there, someone's in the living room, someone's upstairs. So it becomes this almost which if you started when you started on the ground floor, you would have no idea about. The idea of this house was to get in light and ventilation in a way where the seasons are reflected inside the house. You know, as the sun moves, as the night, day, the hues of color and hues of this thing in the house keep on changing. So this becomes the heart. That's the word I wanted to use. This becomes the heart of the house.